Everyone. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask?
Hi, Stuart. It's Tony. In the context of spiritual work, does the end justify the means?
You mean, is it Machiavellian?
No. I want to hear your take on that.
Depends upon what the means are, I mean, look, you're not going to get to God going around killing everybody that gets in your way, taking revenge on people, I mean, if the means are doing deep inner work, whether what I teach or somebody else teaches, sacrificing your time, making an effort, contributing to a situation that's making it possible for you to have a spiritual life. I mean, if those are the means, then they justify the ends, justify the means, because the goal is a spiritual life. And then you have to walk on a path that is not filled with, where you're not walking around with a sword, chopping everybody's head off. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. I mean, then the ends justify the means. Surrendering, doing things you wouldn't ordinarily do, working against your ego, working against your mind, working against every kind of obstruction that keeps you from, if those are the means, then the ends justify the means. Mm. Understand? If you think you're going to cut 7 people's heads off because that's going to get you closer to God, I don't think the ends justify the means. Life is going to become pretty horrible.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, people think they're going to have a spirit. I mean, that's one of the things I never liked about ashrams. There were always cliques of people that somehow in their brain thought they were more important than other people. And that was going to get them closer to the teacher. There were all these ranks of people and circles of who's in the inner circle and who's not in. I mean, I could never run my situations that way, but I know a lot of situations are run that way. And people think by getting into the inner circle and stepping over other people, they're going to get closer to God. It's just bullshit. Understand? You get closer to God by learning how to serve, learning how to defer to other people, learning how to respect other people and give them room to grow and get closer to God, not to have a better position in a situation, not to have power over anybody else, not to be there to tell people how they should live their lives. It's one of the great tragedies, of people that often run meditation, ashrams and stuff, telling everybody how they should live their lives. They should become initiates, they should become, walk around in robes and, all this stuff that they make people do. I mean, that doesn't justify anything. What justifies everything is learning how to surrender and to understand that less is more. The less there is of you lording it over everybody, the closer you'll be to God. And that takes an awful lot of inner strength to be able to do that. And I've had enough of that in my life, meeting people involved in situations that to me were pretty scary, you know, and watching them doing things that they thought would get them closer to the teacher, not realizing the way to get closer to the teacher is to truly find a way through your heart to open to God. It's the way to get closer, never mind the teacher, to your parents, to your friends, to your people in your life, to life, period. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, could you talk about building new healthy patterns to replace old patterns?
Yeah. You know, I'm almost getting tired of talking about that. It's really what I talk about. I mean, we have to build new patterns, not patterns, but just break down, you know, all of the conditioned reflexes and ways we've been conditioned to live our lives, you know, in order to tap, you know, creative energy in the universe and to allow ourselves to go through this thing of death and rebirth in life, change, you know, finding the newness in ourselves. I mean, Rudy always talked about how all these products you see advertised on, they're always talking about the new this, the new that, the new that. Well, you know, we as human beings have to develop the new us, that part of us that really can break down all that, those old habits and conditionings and belief systems that keep us from growing, that keep us so trapped inside ourselves that we literally become like mummies. And all our work is about doing that. I certainly have spent my life doing that. Breaking down so many patterns that I had of ways I was living. And a lot of them were just unconscious. You know, we do things to ourselves unconsciously, creating all these patterns, generally looking for some kind of safety in life and not realizing that the only safety in life is connecting with higher energy, being a child of God. Does anyone else have a question? I mean, if you get centered in the navel chakra, if you open your heart, if you get a quiet mind, if you're capable of drawing energy through the sexual area to the base of the spine, all of these old conditioned behavioral things will go away. You'll be able to break them down. Because if you don't break them down, they're going to just congest your system. And you're not going to be able to allow the Shakti, the energy, the spirit to flow through your system. So all of these ways that we created for ourselves, these safety devices and safety mechanisms and walls and fortresses we build to protect us against life, it all gets broken down. And we connect with the one energy in the universe that really is the only security, and that's higher energy, God. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I would ask you, Stuart, what is the secret sauce to really maintaining that focus on the third chakra, like more or less continuously? You know, the pulling away or the mind going, da da da, you know. So what's the secret sauce to really maintaining that focus?
The secret, Wendy, is working on yourself over a long period of time. That is the secret. You know, there's no button you can press that's going to do this. There's no, you know, you just have to condition your inner life to where your mind literally all day stays centered below the navel. And that takes time. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of inner effort. It doesn't come about in a couple of days, a couple of years. It doesn't come. It comes about eventually, because we have put in the time to work on ourselves to make that possible. That's the secret. The secret is doing the work. I mean, I remember with Rudy, I used to go, Rudy, I had this great, the schmuck thinks he's having a spiritual life. That's what I used to hear from him all the time. How long? I've been doing this 6 months. He said, Stuart, I've been doing this 35 years, 33 years. You know, have patience, work on yourself, it'll come. Don't jump on every little stupid experience you have of some vision or cosmic nature. Continue to build that system. And it's really the story of the tortoise and the hare. You know, it really is. You think that you're never, and then one day you're there. You really are there. I mean, people often ask me, well, how did you learn the art business? People, you know, I mean, it's a very esoteric business to learn how to deal in Tibetan and Buddhist and Hindu ancient art, you know. I mean, I said, you know, 20 years of doing it, learning, making mistakes, learning from the mistakes, finally mastering, learning what you're doing. And this is no different. It takes time. I mean, I've said it a lot of times. I even put it in one of my books. Rudy said, you know, it takes 9 months to have a baby. It takes 1 second to die. I'll never forget when he said that, because it's so profound. If you want to have a baby in 2 months, forget about it, you know? And we all know that. So it takes time of maturation, growth, maturity, conscious development of an inner life, slow unfolding of consciousness over time allows you to get to the place where your head, not all the time, but maybe 85% of the time, 90, you can stay centered in that chakra, whatever you do. That's why probably most teachers don't even teach this thing, you know? You know, they talk about spirit and they talk about God and rituals and rituals and rituals, you know? But the reality is very simple. It's just developing the capacity to keep your mind focused below the navel. That will turn everything around you into something sacred. You don't need to do rituals. Life itself is the ritual. You know, it's just sacred when you learn how to do this. Does anyone else have a question? And I don't put people down for doing whatever they do to get to God, you know. I just wanted the fastest path. And I discovered the fastest path was learning how to be the tortoise. Fastest path. There was no faster path than becoming the tortoise in the race with the hare, you know. And having the patience to get to the finish line, you know, and doing the inner work. Does anyone else have a question? I hope it's clear, you know, I don't want to make your lives hard. I'm just trying to get people to get strong enough inside to do inner work in a direct way, in the quickest, simplest possible way imaginable, you know, and it takes consciousness, it takes time, it takes the kind of things I talk about to learn this. I mean, you know, somebody sent me a picture. I mean, it was, I hate to, you know, it was really scary, you know, today of two students I haven't seen in 30 years, 25 years. They used to study with me. And I'm telling you, I just took a deep breath and I said, oh, thank God. Thank God for Rudy's meditation practice. I really did, you know, when I saw these people. One of them it was very close to me, both of them, back in the 90s. And then boom, they disappeared. I haven't seen them since. And it was like, my God, you know, all this time they could have been connected and doing this work and learning how to get balanced and maintain that balance, absorbing the Shakti, the energy, and, you know, but it's a good education. And it certainly makes me very grateful that I've been capable of sustaining this work for so many years and doing this inner work and having people that I do it with, you know, people that really are open to receiving this kind of teaching that Rudy passed on. And does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? It's not that I want you all to be here forever. I don't. First of all, I'm not going to live forever, you know? I'm getting older every day. And I want you to learn what is being taught. That's really what I want. Same thing Rudy wanted, is to tell me, learn what I have to teach. I'm not going to be here forever. And that's all I'm asking. I'm not asking students to spend an eternity with me, but learn it and then apply it to your life. Master it. Okay, if there are no more questions, then I'm telling you, these classes are getting almost too much for me. You know? They're very powerful. And God bless you all for being here, for being part of this. And I hope it benefits you. I hope you learn how to become the tortoise, you know, and understand patience and work and growth get you to the finish line. Mastering the craft. It's like I remember going to a concert with Guy Horowitz, a piano player, and he took one finger and touched a note, and it filled all of Carnegie Hall Concert Hall. And I said, how the hell does he do that? And then, you know, 10 hours a day of practice over 20 years. That's how the hell he did it. You know, mastered it, being the whole concert hall. It's full. Okay, so bless you all. Thank you. And we'll have meditation tomorrow evening. I'm hoping to see everybody in the meditation. And God bless you all in all the deepest humility. I'm very grateful to be here and share my life with every single one of you. Thank you for coming, and hopefully I'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.